This is Robyn Leslie again with onlytheinspired.com, and I have the amazing Bob Kittridge here. So I am super excited to hear his story and how he's going to help you. So Bob, in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
Yeah, so I'm Bob Kittridge. As Robyn said, I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm a behavioral performance consultant. So basically, if you think about, we are God's supercomputer designed to perform at the highest level within our potential and our purpose. And most of us don't do that, right? And with the things that have been going on here lately, boy, it's really showing up where people are lacking in that performance, flexibility, perception. I mean, I could go on and on. So in a short little statement, what I do is I have people look at their story, the one they tell, usually every day, at least to themselves in the mirror. I have them really discover what that story is, define the beliefs that are inside that story, look at them. Are they limiting beliefs, empowering beliefs? Because they could be both. Mm-hmm. And then detach from the limiting beliefs, because most of the times what I find is our story is really a lie. It was written by somebody way back before we had the intellectual faculties to write our own story. Mm-hmm. And no malice intended, no, right? It's they tried to do the best that they could do. But for us as an individual, chances are that story is a lie. And that's why we get to the age where we are. And, you know, it's kind of like, is this all life has to offer, right? Is this it? Because there's still so much untapped potential, but we're living that lie that somebody else has written for us. So basically, once you detach from it, you then get to design the new story through a great new vision. And then, of course, as you're doing with this summit is you've got to do. You've got to put it into action. You can't wait. You've got to move to be able to then cement those new beliefs and ideas and live within that new story. And that's what I do for folks.
I love that. And there's so many people who don't know that it's a lie.
Oh, well, again, they've taken it as the truth because they were told, it was told to them by the people they love. Typically parents, grandparents, friends, right? And that's how that story is created and cemented, emotional impact, authority figure. And usually that so for me, right, and we'll get right down to the bottom of it, right, for me is that I'd never make a difference. That's the story I was told from about 6 years old. And I believed it for many, and it still comes up today, even though I'm in this work and even though, right, it's some of these beliefs are very deep-seated. Mm-hmm. And so when you asked me to be on this summit, right, the first thing that comes up is why, right? I mean, that's the little gremlin that sits on the shoulder that, right, you know, talks in this ear, and we got one over here sometimes too. And that's where I have to go back to my vision and say, because I want to make a difference in the world. I want to have people live full out, fully expressed, living their life to the full potential in which they were designed. So typically I say yes, and then try to figure out what it looks like afterwards, right? Right.
I love that. Well, yes. And, you know, sometimes we actually never get to experience a living full out. And and I'm not trying to get distracted, but the one place where I feel fully alive is at a Tony Robbins event. Because you get rid of all that stuff and you're in full emotion, happy, sad, excited, you know, horny, whatever, you know, he has you going through those emotions. And that's most of the time we dumb down things, but there you feel so alive. That is why it's my total ultimate happy place. I love it. So
well, and the great part about that, Robyn, is right, that environment is created for you to step into. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, you have the exact same power to create that environment for yourself to step into. And you said it, we typically don't. Because we have these beliefs or, oh my God, what will people think? Or, you know, if I do that, I mean, all of those, right? All of those things that stop us. And you go to that event, there's nothing there stopping you, right? Because he's created that environment for you to flourish, to you to live full out, for you to, and if you do that, and it sounds like you do, right? It sounds like you absolutely do. The exciting part of that means you have the potential to do that every single day.
Right. Yeah, he creates an environment where you're given permission to go full out, but you still see those people holding back in that situation also. And it's like, I wish you would just go for it. You're here. Let it go. Yes.
Let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. So how did you get started in this business? What happened? What series of events happened to get you to do what you do now?
And how long do we have for this?
For a while.
Well, I'll tell you. So, I'll give you kind of synopsis. My personal growth journey started in about 1982 in the back of a police car. I mean, won't talk about what happened. It wasn't anything bad or anything else. It was actually something very stupid. But as I sat there in the back of that police car, I knew that's not where I belonged. I knew that's not where, right? And I look back on it now and the circumstances of that event, I know that somebody had their hand on my shoulder, right? I mean, it really just, when you look at the way the circumstances played out. So for years, I followed what many people did, spent time, money, and effort to do seminars, read books, growth programs, and there was changes, of course, right? There was changes, but I was never able to really reach that that state, right? That, like, there was always stuff seems to be running in the background. And I equate it to like software on a computer system, right? If you got a bug, you got an old software, I just got the note the other day that, Apple's coming out with this new whiz bang for software update for iPhone and iPad and Mac. I'm going to have to probably update everything, of course, right? It's their way to sell new stuff. But as long as we're running that old software, we're not going to get the performance of the machine in which it was designed, right?
Right, because there's a glitch.
There's a glitch. There's a bug. It's an operating system. And so I stumbled on this, really, that I'd been taught this, I don't know how long, but really probably 2016 is I attended a seminar, a workshop by one of my mentors, Dr. Paul Sheely. And it was about discovering your brilliance, about really uncovering your genius. And the weekend after that I had a stroke.
Oh.
Now, I believe that something was uncovered that the mind didn't want to be uncovered, right? I really do. I really think that. And I delved really into that story, one of what the doctors were trying to tell me of how my life was going to be. And that was of an invalid, of a victim, that, I couldn't do what I used to do, all the stuff they were feeding me. And one of my other mentors on a call as I was laying in the hospital bed said, don't put that in your future because it's not there. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Right? And so I really started to explore the concept of vision and the story wrapped around vision. And it wasn't the story I was living. It wasn't. And so that's where I've dug into the mind and how the mind works and how it runs that story and how we attach to it. So it's an ongoing effort. One of the questions I get all the time is, does the story ever go away? No. Because if you think about it, the story is a memory. We'll go back to the software, right? It's imprinted on the hard drive. You can't defrag it. You can't erase it. But what you can do is detach from it. And that's where I take people, is really to define those beliefs, because our actions are based on our beliefs. They're not based on what we know. How many of you know how to lose weight and get in good health? But we still eat junk food, still drink soda pop, still, sugar, right? We still, even though we know that's what we need to do. So then, and that was the shift for me, is all of the seminars, all the workshops, all that stuff didn't ever really make a huge shift in my doing, or better yet, my being, because there was the underlying story, and I had the attachment to that thing no matter what I was doing. And there was other beliefs mixed in there too, right? Shame, guilt, obligation, fear. I mean, there was a bunch of them mixed in there, and they still are there. But what I have now is the ability to look at the attachment to those and either believe it and go down that path, and I still do, right? I'm not giving you a secret, I'm not giving you the blue pill, right? Or is there's stuff that still triggers me, and I go down that path, but I don't stay there as long because I'm able to come back to the vision of where I want to be and will be in making a difference in the world. So I hope that answered your question. It was kind of a roundabout way to do that, but yeah. So it's been going on since 1982, and I know it'll, this growth thing will, because we never get there, right? I don't think we'll ever get there. It's as we peel away stuff, there's always more underneath.
Right. So when did you decide to help others with the same situation?
Yeah, and I think, I have 30 years in the fire service, so I've always been helping others. I've always been about I've always been about making a difference and helping people. And after I retired, I joined the John Maxwell team as a speaker and a coach because I wanted to share my story. I joined as a speaker, and I wanted to be on stage. And then shortly afterwards, going through some of the training, what I understood was transformation doesn't come from the stage. It may start there, but transformation comes from coaching. So 2011 is when I formed my first coaching business and started to go down the path of learning how to be a true coach.
Awesome. And thank you for being so brave to be a firefighter. Scary job. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
And I've thought about that question. And for some, it may be, having thousands of clients. And I mean, for me, if I can have one person change their life, and notice I said, have they changed their life? I'm not changing their life. They are. They've got to embrace it. That's the ultimate vision for my business. I mean, it truly is. It is making that difference in the world, and especially, again, today, of having people look at different perceptions, different sides of the beach ball, if you will, and really be able to confront their story and create a new one. And if I do that with one person, my business is successful.
Yay, that's beautiful. And it's easy to win that way.
It is, and it was so funny. I had a session with a customer yesterday, with a client yesterday, that I use an assessment system. We went through it, and it was amazing to watch when I revealed things as she would talk about what she does, and I'd show her in her assessment where that is. And it was like, all of a sudden you took the blindfold off. And I don't know, this morning she sent me probably 3 texts because she's still processing and delving into it, like, oh my God, and she realized how she's lived in this belief and that belief. And it was just amazing. So yeah.
Yay. So talking about beliefs, what beliefs do you have that set you apart from your competition? And I'm a collaboration versus competition person, but what perceptions, what ideas do you think you have that sets you apart?
Well, I am too. I'm all about collaboration. I don't think we were created to have success alone. Right? And John Maxwell said that, right? He says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team or go with others. So it truly is about collaboration. And that's the belief. I think that the belief that I hold with that is we are all created whole and complete, resourced in every way in which we've been created. So what you're doing, right? What you're doing with your website, with your summit, with your stuff, that doesn't excite me to do that. Now, it excites me to be part of it, but to take on what you're taking on and doing what you're doing is a passion for you, right? If I can help that, if I can collaborate with that, if I can be part of that, then we help each other. We make each other go farther. We help each other in a different way. And, I believe there's people you're going to help that you may be teaching this, and there's people out there teaching the same message I am. I don't have it. You know, there's not very many unique messages out there, right? I mean, this is old stuff, but it's how you resonate with somebody that makes the difference. So for me, I resonate with people that you might, or with Sally might not, or a different coach. So I'm good with that, right? If I can refer somebody to you that's different than somebody that I mean, I'm all about collaboration because it's all about the results. And that's not about money or building the biggest business or, you know, worried that you're going to steal my stuff, right? Because my stuff is not new. Tony Robbins stuff is not new, right? I mean, it all goes back to some of the old masters of the personal growth, human development, human potential movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and back to what you said about your ultimate vision, you want to help one person. Well, my ultimate vision is I want to help millions. But then I realized that I don't have to help millions. But I could collaborate with a whole bunch of coaches and easily we could help millions.
Exactly.
And I don't care if there's 50 relationship coaches on the site because they're all going to teach something different or they're all going to resonate with somebody different also. And yeah, just a combination of all that.
Well, it's the compound effect, right? So this client yesterday, if I've now done something where she will operate differently, if she will be, not do, if she will be differently, think about the impact she's going to have on others.
Mm-hmm.
And people have already asked her, you know, it was funny because she texted me, people have already asked her what's different about her, right? Yeah. One day, right? Yeah. So there's something, and she shared with that. So that's the compound effect of that. If I can make the difference with one, they're going to make a difference with how many, to make a difference with how many, to make a difference with how many. And it really is that compound effect.
And that's beautiful. I love that. So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
The belief that I could do it, right? With that underlying belief of you'll never make a difference. I really had to look at that as whether it was a fact or the truth, right? And it was a fact. I mean, it was told to me, it was drilled into me, so that was a fact, but it wasn't the truth. Right? The truth is I'm created to do that. And not to go, right, a little bit spiritual here is I'm created in the image of, makes me whole and perfect, makes me complete. Now my actions may not be, my stuff may not be, but I am. And with that, I can also create. And so in creation, I'm not about change, I'm about creation, right? I don't believe in change, I believe in creation. And so the hardest part is the belief of myself saying, you're worthy of that. You are empowered and created to do that. And trust me, that still comes up. I'm writing a course and a program right now that, you know, there's days that I look at it and go, why would anybody listen to me? Right? I mean, we all do that. And I have to come back to that vision of because I'm created to be that. I've got that purpose to help people, guide people to live that fully expressed life. That's my purpose, through encouragement, through belief in them.
I love that. It makes me sad how many people are told that you're not worthy or you're never gonna from a little person stage, and why it's just so heartbreaking that people attach to that and, you know, they stick with it. And it's sad that somebody would teach somebody so little and innocent that it's heartbreaking. So this next question, I ask everybody, I think it's super important. Some people have it, some people don't. So do you have the support network of friends and family encouraging you to do this? Or is this something that I know I have to do this, I'm doing it no matter what anybody says?
So yes. I've lost friends because of this, right? I mean, this is, I tend to project and challenge, sometimes to the extreme. And I'm learning how to do that within, right? But I have lost some friends that think what I'm doing is airy fairy and hocus pocus, and, you know, their life is what's been dealt to them, that they got to, I've heard all of it, right? And I've discovered a great support network here lately that is absolutely behind what I'm doing and supporting me and behind me. As a matter of fact, this morning I sent, my link for my story to somebody to go through it and just, give me honest feedback. And that's what I want. And I know that it's not a judgment, but it's honest feedback because they're in the same space. They're a coach. They're doing the same thing. And again, that goes back to that collaboration. So I've got folks that I can send stuff to and say, look, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? Right. And and I'm not worried about being judged about it or like that. So yeah. So the answer to that's yes. I've got both sides. Both sides.
Yep. I appreciate you answering that. A lot of people do. Some people have, just, wonderful support, and some are just doing this against the will of everybody they know. And it's tough, but people are doing it. And so,
I know people like that. Absolutely. They do not have the support of friends, families, husbands, wives, but they're, and I've known some that ideas, right? Les Brown says, the richest place on earth is the cemetery, right? Because there are so many ideas that have gone to the grave hidden inside of people because they didn't have the support or the encouragement or the belief so I've seen a lot of people have invested time and money, and then their husband or their wife doesn't support them, and it actually draws them away from it and squashes it. And that's a shame. But I believe that the husband or wife or that family member doesn't know any better. They're not doing it to hurt them. They're not doing it to squash their idea. It's easier to keep them back than it is for them to grow with them. Right.
And sometimes you have one spouse growing and the other one not, and that creates a divide sometimes.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about your business? And I think you probably already touched on that.
I think the favorite thing, if I were to, is raising the awareness of those I encounter. And that's what I'm all about. If I can because we only operate at our lowest level of awareness, right? And there's 7 levels of awareness, but the lowest is animal. That's where most people today are, operating out of fear and doubt and all that. I mean, that's the lowest level versus mastery, which is the highest. So if I can just peel back enough where you just raise your awareness a little bit, you're going to look at things differently. That's the best thing about it.
Yay, that's awesome. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
Yeah. Part of what I'm reestablishing is my passion for the outdoors. I love to hike. I love to bike. I love to just I've got a little place here where I live that I go out in the mornings and have coffee in the sunshine, and get centered. As again, 2016, I had a stroke. A lot of that stuff I enjoyed outdoors was gone, right? I had to recoup and rehab and actually a couple of weeks ago was my first big bike ride. I actually did 15 miles on paved trails. It was, it was kind of nice, right? But it was fabulous. So I really just love I'm sitting here looking out the window and it's actually clouding up a little bit and the winds and the breeze blowing. So after we're done, I'm probably going to go for just a little walk to unwind and get recentered.
You should be getting some nice warm weather in the next week.
Yeah.
I'm west of you, and it's 90s, almost 100 here. And I think,
oh my gosh,
it's crazy hot already. So who inspires you? Who is somebody that you've always looked up to? And it could be more than one person.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's multiple people, but I think somebody that's really inspired me on this journey was an early mentor of mine named Scott Fay. And he and Paul Martinelli actually started the John Maxwell team. But him and I just really started to form a bond. And so he was somebody I could call, bounce stuff off of, cry if I needed to. I mean, it was, and he still is. We don't contact as much now as we did, but he lives his message, right? He lives, and he has his own book and everything else, and everything, and he talks about the sweet spot, just operating in a spot in your life that's effortless. I call that, fully expressed, but so he does that. And I've watched him hit obstacle after obstacle, and he just stays in that sweet spot, and it's amazing.
It's beautiful to see people actually walking their talk instead of, and some it's obvious, and I'm a coach, and so I'll coach certain things, but sometimes obviously it's like, okay, I know better, why am I not doing that? But it's beautiful to see somebody who practices it every day, and they live in that, they practice what they preach.
Well, and I have to say, the other one is my daughter, and I've got 5 kids. But my oldest daughter has gone through some terrible stuff over the last few years. But she has come out of it and is really on this spiritual journey with me. We spent yet Father's Day, had lunch, went and looked at crystals and rocks, and she knows all the powers of the different things. And, so that's, I just sit in awe and look at how far she's come in such a short time. And she still has bad days. Again, we all do, right? It's just the point of it. She doesn't stay there like she used to. She'd stay there, right? Stay there. And now it's like, maybe an hour, maybe a day, but she's really on this great journey, and she inspires me to be on the journey I'm on, to learn that side of who I am also.
That's beautiful. And it's all about not staying there.
It's all about not staying there.
People go there sometimes, but yeah, it's like, okay, wake up, get out of there. I love that. But to have your own daughter be somebody that inspires you, that's beautiful. I love that. So my last question, if you could leave one tip or a golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could say and your only chance to say it, what would that be?
I think it's really discover who you're designed to be, and then be it.
Beautiful.
Be authentic, be it.
Yeah.
There's so much of the world today is about doing, right? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? What are we going to be? And I'm a big doer, right? I'm a big doer, but it's the big shift for me has been, who are you being? That's what makes the difference. And you don't know how to do that unless you know your purpose and really, that person you're designed to be.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so I know you have a giveaway. Is there anything else you want to share before we talk about the giveaway?
Well, I'm just excited that, one, you honored me by inviting me. I appreciate that. I really do. Your program is awesome. What you're doing is great. This summit is going to be amazing. I know. The idea of collaboration is fantastic, right? And trust me, I get bombarded a lot with folks that want me to come on board with something that you can tell it's not about collaboration, right? You know this. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's pretty interesting. So just to thank you. And then again, for folks watching, imagine what the world would be. Just imagine what the world would be if everyone could speak their truth and live fully expressed, right? What would that be? And I know people get hung up on this fully self-expressed thing, but just living your truth. What would the world be like right now? And I'll tell you, where we're headed, we're going to need it. So I encourage you to find out how to be that.
That's beautiful. Well, and if you have an idea of what you want to be, just like you were saying about the graveyard, if you don't put it into action, because I created this onlytheinspired.com 3.5 years ago. And then my life took me in other directions, but I knew if I didn't actually try and make this happen, I would be forever regretful and, just so sad that I never attempted it. So I'm winging it, but I know I would be sad forever if I never tried. But it takes some time to get that clarity, to get the, what am I meant here to be? And I think somebody like you is perfect to help us get rid of the crap story. To actually go, okay, where is it that I'm truly meant to be? And sometimes that takes time, and it does take getting rid of the shit stories that we've been telling ourselves for our whole life.
And the secret I heard you say is you are attempting it, right? Is, whatever you had to get rid of that held you back from playing, right? You and I were talking before we started this, is how many people do we see that have great ideas, but they don't. And, there's the quote, I don't remember what it is about, it's the man on the field, right? It's not the guy in the stands watching. That's called the critic usually, right? Right. The one in the stands, the armchair quarterback. It's the one in the field that's willing to jump in and do and fail and succeed and, get roughed up and all the stuff. And that's what you're doing. And then kudos to you for doing that. So,
Thank you. I actually have the Man in the Arena speech on my site.
Yep.
That from Brene Brown, actually, and that's a Teddy Roosevelt speech.
Yeah, I was going to say Roosevelt originally said it, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so Bob is going to, you want to explain your questionnaire to evaluate what you're going to give away?
Yeah, so basically the question is, right, are you sabotaging your own life? That's the question. And a lot of people would first off say no. Because they're learning something, they're doing, and it's other people's, right? Other people are doing it. Again, lowest level of awareness, right? What happens to me versus mastery is what happens through me. Okay? So this questionnaire has got 10 simple questions that just have you look at your life. No judgment, nothing bad, nothing good, just yes or no. And then at the end of that assessment is a 30-minute, right? Complimentary consultation to walk through the discovery of your vision and see if we can figure out how to kind of define that story and what the belief is that's actually sabotaging your life, because you're not, it is. So
is that what the lady yesterday went through, just the questionnaire and then the 30-minute?
No, that was one of the assessments that I use in my coaching. I use a full assessment to show you who you are at 7 different levels of who you are, from behavior all the way down to how you make your decisions on a value-based, extrinsic, intrinsic, systemic value. That's part of the program that I offer that we'll be talking about.
Very cool. I love what you're giving away. I think that's awesome. So to get that, you're going to go to focuspointsolution.com/sabotage. So it's FOCUSPOINTSOLUTION.com/sabotage. So it's SABATOGE. That's not a word that we spell all the time. That's why I wanted to spell it out. But go there to get that questionnaire, to just, take the 10 questions, evaluate your life, and absolutely look forward to, signing up and getting that 30-minute consultation with Bob. I think that's amazing.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
No
Look
problem.
forward to serving.
Awesome. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you. If you know somebody that you know that needs to hear this interview, please share it. Share the interview. There's so many of us that have such greatness within, and we don't believe it, or we don't know it's there, or we don't know how to draw it out. So please share this video. And, you're going to do yourself and everybody else a gift by doing that. So thank you very much, Bob, for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, bye, guys.